still on justice for Mohbad. Now, there are certain few things that we need to take note of. I mean, everything, everywhere. In short, all that surrounds Wunmi has crumbled. That's just the truth. Everything has crumbled. Nothing is making sense. Nothing is matching up. Everything has crumbled. The thing about liars is this: they are not consistent. There is only one singular thing that Wunmi needs to do: absolve herself, remove herself from the alleged crime. Very difficult. And prior to this, there is a DNA tussle between herself and Mohbad. She is not willing to talk about it. If she had been bold enough, probably she would have said, yeah, this child does not belong to Mohbad. It happened when we had this and that. In fact, she could have even lied that some people raped her and all of that, but Mohbad had accepted that child. But because she can't say any of this, because she had prior charges. When I say charges, I mean Mohbad had charged her, Mohbad had accused her, Mohbad had reported her to his own father. And now that Mohbad's father had issues, and somehow it looks like they still have issues, and Wunmi's family also have issues with Mohbad's father. Ladies and gentlemen, everything is upside down, like really upside down. I want you to pay attention to this one because we are going to go through something deep, and I want you to pay attention. I mean, you don't have to worry about analysis and translation. You are going to get it right. This is really, really important. I've always said it, that spending and the nurse are the key. Those two people. Of course, we know that Adura is also a key, but he is now a bent key. He is now someone who is interested in what he can get. It's all about the money for him. His conscience is dead. And obviously, we know that Mohbad's mother is behind the crushing of his conscience, always reminding him of the money that they stand to have, and also the promise of traveling to the US under false asylum, whatever. Without further ado, let us get right into this one. Before we proceed, like and share, tap on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell.
I want to lecture one way because gbogbo wọn ló mọ̀ pa ikú yẹn. Wunmi ni number 1 tó mọ̀ pa ikú yẹn. Gbogbo wọn tó wà nínú ilé ìgbà tí Mohbad kú, wọ́n pè wọ́n jókòó, ìwọ sọ báyìí. But unfortunately, tẹ́ bá lọ ka gbogbo nǹkan tí gbogbo wọn sọ pátá kò jọra wọn. Ibẹ̀ lẹ ti kọ́kọ́ máa mọ̀ pé wọ́n mọ̀ pa ikú Mohbad, ọwọ́ gbogbo wọn mọ̀. Ẹ bá mi dìyẹn mú. Now, mo bá ka nǹkan tí gbogbo wọn sọ lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan, then we take it up from there. Nǹkan tí Wunmi sọ ni from Mohbad's wife on the fight Mohbad had with Prime Boy. Ẹ má gbọ́ o. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ o. Ó ní, I followed Mohbad to the Ikorodu show with our son, Liam. Wunmi, why did you follow Mohbad to Ikorodu with Liam? Ẹ bá mi kọ́lẹ̀. Prime Boy was also with us in the same car. We got there about 7 p.m. and Mohbad performed at 9 p.m. I sat in the car with Liam. Wunmi, I'm asking you this question now. Why did you go to the show with Liam? Shobatin tẹ̀lé Mohbad lọ sí show tẹ́lẹ̀ ni. Kí ló dé tó yẹ pé jọ́ yẹn ó gbé Liam ó gbé lọ sí show. Show ti lé àwọn tó bọ́ta nínú ilé tó ní kàn wọlé kàn sápamọ́ sínú ilé ni. Wunmi, we need that answer from you. Why did you go with Mohbad to the show? Come and tell us the reason you took your 4-month-old baby to a show that has no security, a show in Ikorodu Berigbe. You had the effrontery. Ọmọ tó ń ké sí pé wọ́n ṣépè fún wọn fẹ́ pa. Ọmọ yẹn ló gbé lọ sódì ní àárín show tó ti ń jùgò, tó ti ń yìnbọn, tí ò sí security. Ó rántí pé wọ́n fẹ́ pa ńgbà yẹn. Ìgbà tá wá ń sọ òótọ́ wọ́n sì lọ sọ pé wọ́n fẹ́ pa. Wunmi, ò ní ṣe oríire. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n máa sọ lọ. Only I sat in the car with Liam when Mohbad finished his performance. Okay, now what is the essence of you going to that show when you sat in the car? I thought you were going to help Mohbad to sell the tickets. I thought you have something you want to perform on the stage. Because Ewo Kiss Daniel. Ohun àti ìyàwó ẹ̀ wọ́n jọ máa ń jó ni. Tó bá ti fẹ́ release album kan, wọ́n jọ máa jó, wọ́n máa gbé síta. So Wunmi, you just went there to sit in the car in the cold. Nínú ọyẹ́ yẹn, ó gbé ọmọ tuntun jòjòló lọ. So what is your essence of going to Mohbad to the show if you had no plan? Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa kà lọ. I sat in the car with Liam when Mohbad finished his performance. He wanted to enter the car when his fans surrounded him and started screaming his name. He brought out 100,000 and gave them. Still, the fans did not let him be. So he told someone to call a bouncer to disperse them. Before the bouncer came, he entered the car with Prime Boy. I sat down in the middle. When the fans were still complaining they wanted more money, Mohbad sent his younger brother to go break down some cash so he could give them. But it took so long before he came back. This made Prime Boy furious and he scolded Mohbad's brother, and that one insulted him. Adura Shola ye enter. Iwo ni Wunmi pe ni that one. Nǹkan yẹn. Kíni yẹn. Kò tiẹ̀. Mo gbogbo yín lẹ́nu ẹbí yín tó go ti mo pe ni jẹkújẹ ni. Ó ní and that one. Abegbo. Ẹ wo bó ṣe qualify bàbá ọkọ ẹ̀. Because as a matter of fact, bàbá ọkọ ẹ̀ làdúrà jẹ́. Abegbo ni. When the fans were still complaining they wanted more money, Mohbad sent his younger brother to go break down some cash so he could give them. But it took so long before he came back. This made Prime Boy furious and he scolded Mohbad's brother, and that one insulted him back. Prime Boy now turned to Mohbad and said, "Your brother is insulting me in your presence and you are not saying anything." Oh, Emma Binu. TikTok, Emma Binu. TikTok, I'm sorry. About TikTok, Emma Binu. Facebook, hold on, Facebook, please. Yeah. This made Prime Boy furious and he scolded Mohbad's brother, and that one insulted him back. Prime Boy now turned to Mohbad and said, "Your brother is insulting me in your presence and you are not saying anything." Now, Esuba mi di rock komumbe ti Wunmi pa. Wunmi sọ pé ìgbà tí Adura insult Prime Boy wá sọ fún Mohbad pé wo ba Adura ṣe insult me and you are not saying anything. Now this is my question to Wunmi. Wunmi, was that day the first time Adura is going to insult Prime Boy? At the end of the day, gbogbo wọn ti jọ ń ṣe now. So mama insult ara wọn. So ó ṣe wá jẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn gangan ni Prime Boy máa wá dìbò pé Adura insult òun. Kí ni Wunmi fẹ́ establish ńbẹ̀ yẹn? Wunmi fẹ́ establish nǹkan tó fàjà Mohbad àti Prime Boy, which tí ò dẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀. Nǹkan ibi tó ń bọ̀rọ̀ lọ nìyẹn ò ṣe ń gbọ́ mi. Wunmi fẹ́ establish nǹkan tó fàjà Prime Boy àti Mohbad. So ó try láti fi rọ́bọ̀lẹ̀ ẹ máa gbọ́ lọ. Prime Boy now turned to Mohbad and said, "Your brother is insulting me in your presence and you are not saying anything. I can never allow my own younger brother to insult you." But these are the people tó yẹ pé wọ́n ti jọ dàgbà ládùúgbò. Kí ló fa gbogbo eléyìí? Èèyàn tuntun tó bá yẹ ṣe join Mohbad ló máa sọ gbogbo eléyìí. Prime Boy has been Mohbad's friend from ìgbà tó kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ nígbà ayé wọn. So why ti Prime Boy máa sọ pé àbúrò mi ò kí ń bú ẹ báyìí, wo bá burú ẹ ṣe ń bú mi. Tọ́jọ́ ṣe kékeré tọ́jọ́ dàgbà. Gbogbo wọn ti mọ owó ara wọn now. Wunmi is trying to establish pé nǹkan tó fàjà ẹ máa wò. I can never Prime Boy now turned to Mohbad and said, "Your brother is insulting me in your presence and you are not saying anything. I can never allow my own younger brother to insult you." This led to a big argument. This led to a big argument between Prime Boy and Mohbad. Báwo ni pé Adura insult Mohbad or insult Prime Boy? Facebook, you are not doing anything. I want TikTok, wọ́n ti gba kíní mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́ Facebook, please. Love and like Facebook, please. I cannot see anything Facebook. Eko comment tó bá jẹ́ pé love and like bí a phone mi ni. Facebook, I'm waiting for you, please. Tá bá ti ṣe dáadáa máa lọ sórí TikTok ni o. Facebook, can you comment if you can hear me and if you are loving and liking tó yẹ pé mi ni mo rí. Facebook, ẹ jọ̀ọ́. Are we still online? Facebook, please comment. TikTok, I can't see anything. Facebook, you can hear me. So are we still online? Because can you end job? Come on, your flag. Okay, love and am I love and liking by share love and like. Okay, you are loving and liking. Okay, am I tap love and like button here? Okay, come on, Jackie, my pen bomb me because tell back. Timari pen bomb me. Mama come off it. My will be part anti flag one. Eshe, God bless you. Yeah, Jackie Makalo. This led to a big argument between Prime Boy and Mohbad. Along the line, Prime Boy said Mohbad, shut up. Wunmi sọ pé along the line, àwọn tó ti jọ ń ṣe kékeré tó ń jọ ṣe kékeré. Ó wá di pé àdúrà insult Prime Boy, ó wá fàjà ṣé ń gbọ́. Wunmi ìtòrò ti mọ̀ pé Mohbad ò sí ńbẹ̀ mọ́ láti defend rẹ̀. Wunmi ó tún parọ́ títí ó tún parọ́ mọ́kù. Ìṣẹ̀dá ò lè ṣe rere láyé Wunmi. Ìkà ni ẹ́, olórí burúkú ọmọ ni ẹ́. Ọmọ tí ò lálùbáríkà lára. Àjẹ́ apọkọjáyé. Ó pa Mohbad láti jọ kó má lè fún wa ní common reason tó pa Mohbad. Tó dẹ̀ tún sọ pé I know what killed him. Nǹkan tó pa tó mọ̀ yẹn kó kú mọ́ ẹnu, kó kú mọ́ gbogbo ayé ẹnu. Kó má gbélé ayé ṣe rere àfi tó bá sọ nǹkan tó pa Mohbad. Olórí burúkú ọmọ. Ó tún ní effrontery ó wá síta. I know what killed Mohbad. I will not talk. Kó di odi pẹ̀lú kó bá ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Kó di odi tó bá bọ́ta sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Àìlàlà ló máa fẹ́ jẹ́ wẹ̀. I can never allow my own younger brother to insult you. This led to a big argument between Prime Boy and Mohbad. Along the line, Prime Boy said, Mohbad, shut up. That statement infuriated Wunmi Wakaloko Yimboyo. Tó bá jẹ́ lo kọ́kọ́ pa mí. Ìwọ báwo. Ìwọ. Olóbò òsèré ìwọ. Àṣànà. Gbogbo nǹkan tó jẹ́ kó fi mọ̀wé kọ́. Spam ti gba gbogbo entitlement ọpọlọ ẹ. Olóbò jomijoke. This led to a big argument between Prime Boy and Mohbad. Along the line, Prime Boy said, Mohbad, shut up. The statement infuriated Mohbad. He came out of the car, went to Prime Boy's side, and opened the door. When Mohbad got out of the car, I also got down to call the other guys that followed us, who were in the second paddle, so they could also settle the fight. By the time I got back, I saw some crowd already trying to intervene them, and I saw wound on his hand. Now,
let me quickly run through what Wunmi said so that we get a clearer picture from what our guest is saying. She said that she accompanied Mohbad to Ikorodu show with, in quote, our son, Liam. In fact, let me put it word for word, what Wunmi said. And I want you guys to take hold of it, keep it, and let us now relate it to what Spending said. Prime Boy was also with us in the same car. We arrived at approximately 7 p.m. and Mohbad performed at about 9 p.m. I sat in the car with Liam. That's Wunmi, sitting in the car with Liam. After Mohbad finished his performance, he attempted to enter the car, but his fans surrounded him, screaming his name, Mohbad, Mohbad, Imole, number one. He took out 100,000 naira. So Mohbad was moving with money, cash, and gave it to them. But they still did not disperse. So he instructed someone to call a bouncer to clear the crowd. Before the bouncer arrived, Mohbad and Prime Boy entered the car. I sat in the middle between them. As Mohbad's fans continued to demand more money, Mohbad sent his younger brother, that's Adura, to get more cash for them. However, his brother took a long time to return, infuriating Prime Boy. Prime Boy scolded Mohbad's brother. Adura responded with insults. This escalated into a heated argument between Prime Boy and Mohbad. At one point, Prime Boy told Mohbad to shut up. A statement that enraged Mohbad. He got out of the car, walked over to Prime Boy's side, and opened the door. I also got out to call the other guys who had accompanied us in the second Prado to intervene in the fight. Hold on. Did she go with the child or left that child with spending? Are you guys moving on, like following the story? She excluded spending from this talk. Did she go to call with the baby, Liam, in her hands, or left the baby in the car between two people who are fighting or screaming at each other? When I returned, a crowd was already attempting to separate them. Question: where are those crowd attempting to separate Prime Boy and Mohbad? Did anybody record? Do not forget that we live in an era where people record first before they call for help. A crowd was already attempting to separate them. A crowd was already attempting to separate them. A crowd, I repeat again, take note of it. A crowd. Where are those crowd? Now, before we proceed, there is a part where Prime Boy said he ran down to Cubana chief priest to report what Mohbad was doing. That Mohbad had embarrassed him, asking him to come out, step out of the car, because he had reprimanded Mohbad's younger brother for taking too long. But he did not want to leave that environment after Cubana chief priest told him, wait here, let me go see Mohbad, I will talk to you later. Well, Cubana did not return. Now, that Ikorodu, where the performance of the show that Mohbad went for, is actually where I want to believe Prime Boy grew. Yes. So he said the crowd was much and he was afraid. Was he putting on like certain jewelry that he was afraid they might try to grab or take off? He said he had to call someone who will help him somehow transverse, the crowd. Or was he afraid that some people, according to Wunmi, who had come to intervene, are in support of Mohbad and not him? Now, Wunmi went on to say, I noticed a wound on Mohbad's hand. I repeat again. Wunmi said, I noticed a wound on Mohbad's hand. They told me, who is this they? They, is it spending? They, is it those that were there, like the people there? They told me he had punched the glass window of the Prado. Nigerian police, where is that Prado? Driver of the Prado, where are you? After the incident at the show, we returned home. I was upset with Mohbad for his behavior at the event. Are you guys following up? After the incident at the show, we returned home. I was upset with Mohbad for his behavior at the event. Like, why are you fighting Prime Boy? Is that what she claims she's angry? So I went to my room. Mohbad came to my room to apologize and explained that he didn't like how Prime Boy had spoken to him. We resolved the issue and I asked him about his injured hand. It appeared to be only a minor scratch and I applied some ointment to it. However, we had a small argument later. Now, this is not a joke. This is verbatim, like what Wunmi said. Understand? Wunmi? Understand Wunmi in this, please. I want you guys to pay attention. This is very serious. She claimed that she reprimanded Prime Boy. They had resolved that issue, settled it. There was an injury. That is the injury that you all saw that they said Mohbad had on his hand. And he was shaking the hand, like moving it. It was so painful that he had hit something and he had a scratch. She applied ointment to it. However, we had a small argument later. Now, are you guys getting that justice for Mohbad of a thing? Are you guys like connecting to it now? What was that small argument about? What was that little? You see, when someone says we had a small argument, it means that they had a critical, serious, big, because she did not refer to the other argument, the incident at the show, as small argument. She said here, however, we had a small argument later. What was that argument, Wunmi? Canada, paternity, there is a girl in the UK. Mohbad inquired about the progress of mine and Liam's passports. Yes, Mohbad inquired about the progress of my and Liam's passport, and I informed him that the process was not yet complete. This upset him and he blamed me for the delay. The next day, his hand had become significantly swollen. So we decided to call a nurse. Mohbad's personal nurse wasn't available, so Ayobami, Mohbad's friend, called his own nurse, Feyi. Ayobami is spending. As Feyi examined Mohbad's hand and treated his hand, I was in and out of the room while preparing food in the kitchen. I witnessed the first injection, but when she administered the second one, I was in the kitchen. After a few minutes, Mohbad asked the nurse to remove the drip because he wasn't feeling well. He rushed to the bathroom and we poured water on him. Then he began vomiting. His mechanic was outside working on his car. I hurried to the mechanic to ask if we could use the car to take Mohbad to the hospital. However, the mechanic said the car wasn't roadworthy. I started calling for help outside and someone offered to take him to the hospital. We didn't rush Mohbad to the hospital earlier due to his hospital phobia, stemming from a previous experience with the NDLEA where they had given him something that caused him to end up in the hospital. I don't know how that connects. How can you be afraid of the hospital when you went to NDLEA? NDLEA is not a hospital. But when you had problems from what you claim they gave you at the NDLEA, you now went to the hospital. Doesn't match. That doesn't make sense there. There is something fishy from that small argument. That small argument that he had. Something happened in that small argument. That small argument. That small argument. That small argument. I want you guys to hold on to it. He was terrified of hospitals to the point that when my delivery was due, he wanted me to give birth at home to avoid going to the hospital. Does it make sense? A woman wants to give birth to a child. You, a man, you are so terrified, like you are the one that wants to open your legs to give birth. Doesn't make sense. As Mohbad's condition deteriorated and he began vomiting and feeling weak, I screamed for help and someone offered to drive us to the hospital. On the way to the hospital, it was me, Mohbad's cameraman, that refused to record what happened, even though he's a cameraman, and one other person in the vehicle with the driver. Who is this other person? No name. We were in the back with Mohbad struggling to stay conscious. The driver extended his hand to the back and held Mohbad's hand, remarking that it was very cold. We encountered heavy traffic, so we had to stop a motorbike. One of the guys accompanied Mohbad on the bike, while I took another bike and followed them. We reached the hospital and rushed him in. Doctors and nurses immediately attended to him, and after 15 minutes, the doctor emerged and conveyed the devastating news that Mohbad had passed away. I couldn't believe it. Just hours earlier, we were having a conversation. I couldn't comprehend what had caused his sudden demise. I had already called Mohbad's cousin Naija, and he arrived, that's Darosha, at the hospital 20 minutes later. We hurried Mohbad to another hospital where the doctor confirmed that he had been brought in DOA. I'm not going to comment on this. I want you guys to do justice to it. I know we have intelligent people on this platform.